What happens when a captain discovers his elite team is more than human? Part of a secret experiment that blurs the line between weapon and soldier. You won't believe how far they'll go to protect humanity, or what it costs them. The crimson skies of Solarion burned with the fires of war as Captain Victor Holt surveyed the battlefield from his command post. The alien invaders, known as the Zytherians, had been relentless in their assault on humanity's last stronghold. Their massive warships loomed like ominous shadows above the planet's surface, raining down destruction with every passing moment. Victor's hardened features betrayed none of the turmoil raging within him as he watched his team execute a flawless tactical maneuver, a maneuver that should have been impossible for mere humans. Delta Squad, fall back to position Bravo, Victor commanded through the comm system, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. The 4 members of his elite squad moved with supernatural precision and speed, dodging plasma fire and returning shots with accuracy that defied human capability. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez took out 3 enemy drones with a single burst from her modified pulse rifle, while Lieutenant Marcus Chun simultaneously hacked into the alien communication network. Victor couldn't shake the feeling that something was profoundly wrong. His team's performance during this critical mission exceeded even their rigorous training standards. They reacted with an intuition that bordered on telepathic, anticipating each other's moves before they happened. As he observed Private James Tech Thompson disable an entire battalion of Zytherian ground troops using nothing but a prototype EMP device, Victor's mind raced with questions. These weren't just exceptional soldiers. They were operating on an entirely different level. Back at the command center, Dr. Evelyn Carter monitored the team's vital signs with growing concern. The neural implants she had overseen installation of were showing unprecedented levels of brain activity synchronization among the squad members. Their heart rates, though elevated, remained remarkably stable under extreme stress. Something about these readings triggered a memory of classified documents she wasn't supposed to access, files that hinted at experimental programs and genetic modifications far beyond standard military enhancements. Captain, we need to discuss your team's recent performance metrics. Dr. Carter approached Victor after the successful mission debriefing. Her usually confident demeanor showed cracks of unease. There are anomalies that require immediate attention. Victor's instincts screamed warning as he processed her words. He had always prided himself on handpicking each member of Delta Squad based on merit alone. But now, doubt crept into his mind like a cold shadow. Had he really chosen them, or had they been chosen for him? The question gnawed at him as he watched his team celebrate their victory, unaware that their very existence might be part of a conspiracy that reached far higher than any of them could imagine. We've only scratched the surface of this mystery, and already the stakes are rising. Stay tuned to uncover what happens when Captain Holt begins to unravel the truth about his team's extraordinary abilities and the dark forces behind their creation. The morning briefing room felt unusually tense as Victor reviewed the mission parameters with his team. Sunlight filtered through reinforced windows, casting long shadows across the holographic display of their next target, an underground Zytherian research facility buried deep beneath Solarion's crust. The aliens had been developing something there, something that could potentially turn the tide of the war. Delta Squad's objective was clear: infiltrate, gather intelligence, and neutralize any threats. As Victor studied his team's faces, he noticed subtle changes he hadn't seen before. Their movements carried an unnatural fluidity, their eyes tracking multiple targets simultaneously without conscious effort. Even their breathing patterns seemed synchronized, almost as if they shared a single consciousness. This wasn't just enhanced physical conditioning. It was something fundamentally different, something that violated everything he knew about human capabilities. Dr. Carter's warnings echoed in his mind as he prepared to deploy his team. She had mentioned anomalies, but her nervous glances and evasive answers only deepened the mystery. Victor accessed the classified server under the pretense of reviewing standard operational protocols. What he found chilled him to the core: encrypted files referencing Project Helios, a Black Ops initiative that didn't officially exist. The timestamps matched suspiciously well with the dates his team members had joined Delta Squad. During the infiltration mission, the true extent of his team's altered nature became undeniable. When an ambush caught them off guard, Elena's reflexes kicked in milliseconds faster than humanly possible, creating a protective barrier of energy shields that shouldn't have been technologically feasible. Marcus's ability to interface directly with alien technology went beyond simple hacking. He was rewriting fundamental code structures in real time, his mind processing calculations at quantum speeds. The deeper they penetrated the Zytherian facility, the more Victor realized they were walking a fine line between salvation and something far more dangerous. Tech discovered experimental data suggesting the aliens had been studying human enhancement for years, seeking ways to create their own super soldiers. The irony wasn't lost on Victor. Perhaps Earth's greatest weapon against invasion had been born from the same desire for supreme warriors. Back at base, Victor confronted Dr. Carter with his findings. Her confession came in fragments, each revelation more disturbing than the last. The neural implants weren't just communication devices. They were sophisticated bioengineering marvels capable of rewiring human DNA on a cellular level. The synchronization he observed was a side effect of quantum entanglement fields embedded in their neural networks, creating a hive mind effect that amplified their individual abilities exponentially. "We're on the verge of a breakthrough here," Dr. Carter admitted, her voice trembling. "Your team represents the culmination of decades of research in human potential. But there's something else, something we can't fully explain yet." She hesitated, then added, "They're evolving faster than our models predicted. Every mission pushes them closer to something else." The implications hit Victor like a freight train. His team wasn't just enhanced. They were transforming into something beyond human classification. Their loyalty, their very identity, might be compromised by forces neither of them fully understood. Yet, at the same time, their unique abilities made them humanity's best chance against the Zytherian threat. We're on the brink of a major revelation here. The pieces are falling into place, and the truth about Delta Squad threatens to change everything we know about warfare and human evolution. You simply can't afford to miss what happens next as Captain Holt grapples with the responsibility of leading a team that's becoming more powerful and more unpredictable with each passing mission. The weight of leadership pressed heavily on Victor's shoulders as he watched his team prepare for their next mission. Each movement they made, once so familiar, now seemed foreign, a carefully choreographed dance of enhanced beings whose true nature remained shrouded in mystery. Dr. Carter's revelations had opened a Pandora's box of ethical dilemmas, but the pressing matter of the war demanded action. Intelligence reports indicated increased Zytherian activity near the polar regions, where ancient terraforming equipment still functioned despite centuries of neglect. Victor's mind raced as he formulated strategy. Traditional military doctrine no longer applied to his team's capabilities. Where once he would have deployed units in careful formations, now he had to account for their ability to coordinate without verbal communication, to anticipate enemy movements before they occurred. It was like conducting an orchestra where each instrument played a symphony of its own volition, yet somehow harmonized perfectly with the others. The briefing room transformed as holographic projections displayed terrain maps and weather patterns. Victor noted how his team absorbed information differently now. Their eyes darted across data streams too quickly for normal human comprehension, yet their understanding appeared complete. Tech's fingers danced over virtual interfaces, manipulating variables that would have taken hours of analysis previously. Marcus's head tilted slightly, and suddenly complex encryption algorithms unraveled before their eyes. As they suited up, Victor couldn't help but notice the subtle changes in their physical appearance. Muscle definition seemed sharper, skin tones more uniform. Even their body language spoke of power held in check, like coiled springs ready to unleash tremendous force. Dr. Carter's medical scans showed accelerated cellular regeneration, enhanced oxygen utilization, and neural pathways that glowed with activity never before documented in human subjects. The drop zone proved treacherous, winds howling across glaciers that stretched endlessly toward the horizon. Yet Delta Squad moved with purpose, their enhanced senses detecting thermal signatures through meters of ice. Elena led the way, her enhanced vision picking out safe paths across crevasses that would have swallowed conventional soldiers whole. Victor marveled at how effortlessly she navigated the deadly terrain, her movements flowing like liquid mercury. Communication between team members had evolved beyond spoken words. Subtle gestures and eye contact conveyed complex strategies in moments. When Zytherian patrol drones appeared, the squad reacted as one organism, positioning themselves instinctively to maximize cover and firepower. Victor watched in awe as they executed maneuvers that textbooks would later call impossible, their actions perfectly synchronized without apparent coordination. Inside the ancient terraforming facility, the air grew thick with ozone and anticipation. The walls pulsed with alien technology, responding to Delta Squad's presence in ways that defied explanation. Tech's hands hovered over control panels, drawing energy from circuits that should have fried his nervous system. Instead, he absorbed and redirected power flows, creating temporary barriers against approaching enemy forces. Marcus demonstrated new abilities that left even Dr. Carter's research team baffled. Alien symbols rearranged themselves in his mind's eye, translating into actionable intelligence faster than any computer could process. His connection to the facility systems transcended mere hacking. He became part of the machine, his consciousness expanding into digital realms that shouldn't exist. Yet with each success came new challenges. The team's enhanced state brought unexpected side effects. Periods of disorientation struck without warning, leaving them vulnerable. Physical exertion sometimes triggered involuntary neural feedback loops that threatened to overwhelm their systems. Victor found himself constantly balancing the team's capabilities against these emerging limitations, adjusting tactics on the fly to accommodate their evolving nature. Back at base, the scientific team worked feverishly to understand the transformation occurring within Delta Squad. Blood samples revealed proteins and enzymes unknown to human biology. Brain wave patterns suggested quantum-level interactions that challenged established physics. Dr. Carter's notes grew increasingly frantic as she documented phenomena that defied current scientific understanding. The war continued to rage outside, but within the confines of their operations center, a different battle unfolded. Humanity's greatest hope against alien invasion was changing in ways that could either save or destroy them all. With each passing day, the line between human soldier and something else blurred further, forcing Victor to confront questions that had no easy answers. The storm intensified as Delta Squad pushed deeper into enemy territory, their enhanced senses cutting through the chaos like blades through fog. Victor watched from the command center, his heart pounding as real-time data streamed in from their neural implants. The team's vitals showed patterns that defied medical science, heart rates synchronizing across miles, brain waves pulsing in harmonic resonance. It was as if they had become nodes in a vast, living network, each member amplifying the other's abilities through some quantum mechanism humanity barely understood. Elena's combat prowess reached new heights during a surprise ambush. Her movements flowed with a grace that seemed almost supernatural, dodging plasma fire with millimeter-perfect precision while simultaneously calculating optimal firing solutions. The Zytherian weapons that should have overwhelmed her defenses instead ricocheted harmlessly away, guided by some invisible force field generated by her neural implants' interaction with the environment. Victor's tactical display showed energy readings spiking around her position, creating microdistortions in space-time that bent incoming attacks away from their intended target. Marcus encountered an alien security protocol that would have stumped Earth's best cryptographers for months. Yet his mind interfaced with the system on a quantum level, perceiving data streams as multidimensional constructs rather than linear code. Symbols and equations cascaded through his consciousness, rearranging themselves into patterns that revealed hidden vulnerabilities. Within minutes, he had not only bypassed the security measures, but also reprogrammed them to work against their creators, turning the facility's automated defenses against the invading forces. Tech's abilities manifested in unexpected ways when they discovered an abandoned Zytherian laboratory. His touch awakened dormant machinery, bringing life to technology that had lain dormant for centuries. Ancient power cores hummed back to life, responding to his neural signature as if recognizing a long-lost master. Through him, information flowed freely between alien systems and human technology, creating hybrid solutions that revolutionized their tactical options. The electromagnetic pulse device he had used in previous missions now incorporated alien energy matrices, increasing its range and effectiveness exponentially. But with these advancements came new dangers. The team began experiencing episodes of sensory overload moments when their enhanced perception drew in too much information at once. During a critical extraction operation, James temporarily lost his ability to filter out background noise, hearing everything from the whisper of distant wind to the subsonic vibrations of approaching enemy forces. The flood of data threatened to overwhelm his neural processors until Elena established a direct mental link, helping him focus and regain control. Dr. Carter's research team worked around the clock to monitor these developments, discovering that the team's quantum entanglement wasn't limited to their immediate vicinity. Distance proved irrelevant as they maintained perfect synchronization during split-team operations, coordinating actions across hundreds of kilometers with precision that defied conventional physics. Their neural networks formed a distributed consciousness that operated independently of physical proximity, creating a tactical advantage unlike anything in military history. Victor found himself adapting his leadership style to accommodate these changes. Traditional command structures gave way to more fluid approaches, allowing the team's collective consciousness to guide decision-making processes. He learned to trust their instincts, which often proved more accurate than the most sophisticated tactical analysis software. Yet this new dynamic raised troubling questions about free will and individual autonomy, questions he struggled to reconcile with his duty as their commanding officer. The ethical implications grew more complex with each mission. While their abilities saved countless lives and turned the tide in several key battles, the cost of their transformation remained unclear. Medical scans revealed structural changes in their brains, with new neural pathways forming at an accelerated rate. Their DNA showed markers that didn't match any known human genome sequences, suggesting their bodies were undergoing fundamental alterations at a molecular level. Despite these concerns, the team's effectiveness against the Zytherian threat couldn't be denied. Entire enemy battalions fell before their coordinated assaults, unable to counter the unprecedented combination of human ingenuity and enhanced capabilities. The aliens, who had once viewed humanity as primitive prey, now regarded Delta Squad with something approaching fear, a development that complicated the strategic landscape in unexpected ways. The situation escalated dramatically when intelligence revealed an imminent Zytherian superweapon activation in orbit. Time became their most precious commodity as Delta Squad prepared for what might be their final mission. Victor stood in the armory, watching his team suit up with a mixture of pride and dread. Their combat gear had evolved alongside their abilities, adaptive armor that responded to neural commands, weapon systems integrated directly into their enhanced physiology, and shielding technology that pushed the boundaries of known science. Elena's preparation ritual had changed subtly. She now spent minutes standing perfectly still, her eyes closed as if communing with some unseen force. Monitoring equipment showed her brain activity spiking in patterns that matched quantum computing algorithms. When she opened her eyes, they glowed faintly with an inner light that faded quickly. "I can feel the battlefield," she explained to Victor's unspoken question. "Every variable, every possibility, it's all there, waiting to be calculated." Marcus approached Tech with a peculiar intensity, their hands briefly touching as they exchanged information faster than speech could convey. Data streams flowed between them in bursts of coherent light, visible only through specialized lenses. "The alien systems are adapting," Marcus reported, not to Victor but directly to the team's collective consciousness. "Their encryption protocols are evolving in response to our previous breaches." Victor's tactical display showed something unprecedented, probability matrices forming in real time across the squad's neural network. Each member contributed to a growing database of potential outcomes, their enhanced minds processing millions of scenarios simultaneously. The result was a tactical overview that accounted for variables no conventional system could predict, from solar flares affecting weapon systems to microscopic atmospheric changes influencing projectile trajectories. As they boarded the transport vessel, something remarkable occurred. Without conscious effort, the team's individual biometrics aligned perfectly: heart rates, respiratory patterns, even hormone levels synchronized as if controlled by a single biological entity. Dr. Carter's monitors registered a phenomenon she tentatively labeled quantum coherence, suggesting their separate bodies were functioning as components of a larger, unified organism. This state persisted throughout the journey, maintaining peak performance despite the stress of impending combat. The orbital insertion proved their most challenging yet. Atmospheric turbulence threatened to tear apart their drop pods, but Elena's precognitive abilities allowed them to navigate the chaos with surgical precision. She anticipated turbulence patterns seconds before they occurred, guiding the team through narrow windows of stability that shouldn't have existed according to classical physics. Each pod landed exactly where needed, forming a perfect tactical formation despite the violent conditions. Once aboard the Zytherian station, their enhanced capabilities faced their greatest test. The alien architecture seemed alive, responding to their presence with defensive mechanisms that defied conventional engineering. Walls shifted, gravity fields fluctuated, and time itself appeared to bend in localized areas. Yet Delta Squad adapted instantly, their quantum-enhanced perception allowing them to navigate this hostile environment as if born to it. Tech's connection to alien technology reached new heights, his consciousness expanding to encompass entire subsystems. He manipulated power flows and data streams with thoughts alone, creating improvised weapons from environmental elements. A discarded maintenance drone became a mobile shield generator, its programming rewritten on the fly to serve their needs. Meanwhile, Marcus established a mental link with the station's AI core, engaging in a battle of wits that spanned multiple dimensions of cyberspace. Victor's role shifted fundamentally during the assault. No longer merely a commander issuing orders, he became the anchor point for their collective consciousness. Through him, the team maintained focus and cohesion, channeling their combined abilities toward strategic objectives. His tactical display showed not just physical positions, but also the flow of information and energy between team members, revealing patterns that suggested their evolution was accelerating beyond initial projections. The superweapon's activation sequence provided their greatest challenge yet. Its alien technology operated on principles that seemed to violate causality itself, requiring simultaneous actions across multiple points in space-time. Only Delta Squad's unique capabilities made intervention possible, Elena's precognition predicting critical moments, Marcus's quantum hacking disrupting control systems, Tech's interface skills manipulating physical components, all coordinated through their shared neural network. As the mission progressed, their transformations became more pronounced. Skin textures shifted subtly, reflecting ambient energy fields. Eye colors changed in response to varying wavelengths of radiation. Even their voices carried undertones that resonated with the station's alien materials, creating harmonic frequencies that affected their surroundings. These changes weren't just physical, their thought processes accelerated to levels that blurred the line between human cognition and pure quantum computation. Back at base, Dr. Carter's team scrambled to make sense of the data flooding in from Delta Squad's implants. The readings showed their neural activity approaching theoretical limits of quantum processing, suggesting they were evolving into something beyond traditional definitions of consciousness. Yet despite these profound changes, their core identities remained intact, proof that humanity's spirit could endure even the most radical transformation. The aftermath of the orbital mission revealed unsettling truths about Delta Squad's condition. As they returned to base, their physical forms exhibited changes that defied medical explanation. Fine crystalline structures began forming beneath their skin, visible only under specific light spectrums. These formations pulsed with energy patterns matching those of the alien technology they had interfaced with, suggesting a form of technological symbiosis that blurred the line between organic and synthetic. Victor's leadership faced new challenges as traditional command structures proved inadequate for managing a team evolving beyond human parameters. During debriefings, he observed how their thought processes accelerated to the point where normal conversation became difficult. They communicated in bursts of quantum data, exchanging complex ideas in fractions of a second that left regular personnel struggling to keep up. Yet despite these changes, flashes of their original personalities emerged in unexpected moments. Elena's quick smile when recalling old missions, Marcus's habit of tapping his pen against briefing tables. The team's relationship with alien technology grew more intimate and dangerous. Tech discovered he could now manipulate matter at a molecular level, restructuring materials to create tools and weapons on demand. This ability proved invaluable during a critical mission when conventional equipment failed, but it also raised concerns about unintended consequences. Objects he modified sometimes retained traces of alien energy signatures, potentially compromising operational security. Marcus's connection to digital systems deepened to the point where he existed simultaneously in physical and virtual spaces, his consciousness splitting between realities without apparent strain. Dr. Carter's research uncovered disturbing evidence about the source of their enhancements. Buried deep within classified archives were references to ancient human experiments with alien technology, suggesting their current state might be the result of secret research spanning generations. The neural implants they carried contained genetic material not of Earth origin, hinting at a collaboration between human scientists and unknown extraterrestrial entities. These revelations forced Victor to reconsider everything he knew about humanity's place in the universe. Combat situations tested their new abilities in increasingly complex ways. During a ground assault, Elena demonstrated spatial awareness that extended beyond line of sight. She anticipated enemy movements through walls and across kilometers, her enhanced perception drawing information from quantum fields surrounding the battlefield. This ability saved countless lives but also triggered migraines that left her incapacitated for hours afterward. The team developed coping mechanisms, learning to distribute cognitive load across their shared neural network to prevent individual burnout. The psychological impact of their transformation manifested in unexpected ways. Dreams became shared experiences, with team members reliving each other's memories and emotions during sleep cycles. These nocturnal connections strengthened their bonds, but also created privacy concerns, as personal thoughts and feelings became accessible to the collective consciousness. Victor instituted mandatory downtime periods to allow for mental recovery, though monitoring showed their brains remained active even during rest. Their interaction with alien technology evolved from mere manipulation to something resembling dialogue. Tech discovered he could ask alien systems for information, receiving responses in forms that defied traditional data transfer methods. Knowledge transferred through emotional resonance rather than binary code, suggesting the aliens viewed technology as an extension of consciousness rather than mere tools. This insight revolutionized their approach to reverse engineering captured equipment. Strategic planning sessions transformed into exercises in multidimensional thinking. The team visualized battlefields not just in three-dimensional space but across multiple timelines and probability matrices. Their predictions became so accurate that conventional intelligence gathering seemed redundant. Yet this foresight came at a cost. Exposure to potential futures sometimes triggered existential crises, as they glimpsed outcomes they couldn't prevent despite their enhanced abilities. Medical examinations revealed their bodies were adapting to handle increasing amounts of quantum information. New neural pathways formed daily, creating a dense network that resembled both human brain tissue and alien circuitry. Their cells showed signs of accelerated evolution, incorporating elements not found in nature. Blood tests detected proteins that seemed to function as quantum processors, enabling them to process information at previously impossible speeds. The line between individual and collective identity blurred further as their shared consciousness deepened. Team members began completing each other's sentences not through prediction but through direct access to unfinished thoughts. Memories merged in places, creating hybrid recollections that combined multiple perspectives into singular experiences. This fusion of identities challenged traditional notions of self while enhancing their operational effectiveness to unprecedented levels. Victor's role evolved from commander to mediator, balancing the team's enhanced capabilities against the psychological toll of their transformation. He implemented protocols to maintain individual autonomy while leveraging their collective strength. Regular integration sessions helped them process shared experiences, preventing cognitive overload while reinforcing their humanity. Despite their evolving nature, small acts of normalcy, shared meals, casual conversations remained anchors to their human origins. The war entered a new phase as Delta Squad's existence became public knowledge. News of their achievements spread through military channels, sparking debates that reached the highest levels of command. Generals and politicians argued over the ethics of continuing the program, while scientists clamored for access to study their unique condition. Victor found himself caught between protecting his team and answering to authorities who saw them as both weapons and experiments. Elena's precognitive abilities reached critical mass during a diplomatic summit between human factions. As leaders debated the future of human-alien relations, she experienced a vision so intense it nearly incapacitated her. Images of parallel universes flashed through her mind, each showing different outcomes of the current conflict. Some depicted humanity victorious but irrevocably changed by alien influence. Others showed extinction events triggered by technological misuse. The experience left her physically drained but mentally expanded, her consciousness stretching across dimensions in ways that defied conventional understanding. Marcus encountered an alien artifact that challenged everything they knew about technology and consciousness. The object, recovered from a derelict spacecraft, emitted signals that resonated with their neural implants. When he attempted to interface with it, his mind expanded into realms of pure information, experiencing existence as raw data streams. The artifact revealed glimpses of alien civilizations that had transcended physical form, existing as patterns of energy across multiple dimensions. This encounter left him questioning the nature of reality itself, his human perspective altered by exposure to concepts beyond human comprehension. Tech's mastery over matter manipulation took a darker turn when he accidentally created a stable quantum singularity during routine equipment maintenance. The miniature black hole, contained within the lab's safety protocols, demonstrated the potential dangers of their enhanced abilities. Yet it also opened new possibilities, The singularity's energy patterns match those found in alien power sources, suggesting a pathway to understanding and replicating their technology. This discovery forced Dr. Carter's team to implement stricter containment measures while continuing their research. The team's shared consciousness began manifesting physical effects that alarmed even their handlers. During high-stress situations, their bodies sometimes phased between states of matter, appearing translucent or refracting light in impossible ways. These transformations seemed linked to their emotional states, particularly when faced with moral dilemmas about their role in the war. Victor observed how their human empathy conflicted with their enhanced capabilities, creating internal struggles that manifested as physical instability. Public opinion divided sharply regarding Delta Squad's status. Some viewed them as humanity's saviors, proof that humans could compete with advanced alien species. Others saw them as abominations, warning of the dangers inherent in tampering with natural evolution. Protesters gathered outside military facilities, demanding answers about the ethics of creating super soldiers. Meanwhile, black market dealers offered astronomical sums for samples of their enhanced DNA, viewing them as the key to unlocking untold power. Military command presented Victor with conflicting orders. Some officers wanted to expand the program, creating more enhanced soldiers to turn the tide of war. Others advocated for decommissioning Delta Squad, fearing their abilities made them too dangerous to control. The debate reached fever pitch when intelligence suggested the Zytherians were developing countermeasures specifically targeting their unique physiology. This revelation added urgency to decisions about their future involvement in combat operations. Dr. Carter's research team made breakthroughs that complicated matters further. They discovered that Delta Squad's transformations were spreading beyond their immediate circle, affecting support staff and even family members through prolonged exposure. Minor enhancements manifested in people who had regular contact with the team, suggesting their quantum state created a sort of contagion effect. This development raised questions about containing their influence while maintaining operational effectiveness. The psychological toll mounted as the team processed their expanding awareness. Nightmares became shared experiences that bled into waking hours, visions of possible futures haunting their consciousness. Some outcomes showed humanity triumphant but irrevocably changed. Others depicted apocalyptic scenarios where their enhancements triggered chain reactions of unintended consequences. These glimpses of alternate realities affected their decision-making, sometimes causing hesitation when decisive action was required. Victor implemented new protocols to manage their growing powers while preserving their humanity. Regular grounding exercises connected them to basic human experiences, tasting food, feeling sunlight, hearing music. These simple pleasures became crucial anchors as their perceptions expanded beyond normal human limits. Yet even these moments carried traces of their transformation, colors appearing more vibrant, sounds richer, tastes more complex than ordinary senses could perceive. The turning point came during Operation Eclipse, a desperate attempt to reclaim humanity's orbital defense grid. Delta Squad's quantum abilities reached their zenith as they faced an unprecedented convergence of alien technologies. The mission parameters seemed impossible: infiltrate a heavily fortified space station, disable overlapping defense systems, and reactivate ancient human weapons platforms, all while evading detection by increasingly sophisticated Zytherian sensors. Elena's precognitive powers manifested in ways that defied conventional physics. She began experiencing time as a malleable construct, able to step partially outside its flow and observe multiple timelines simultaneously. During a critical breach attempt, she guided the team through a maze of lethal traps by seeing their activation sequences before they occurred. Her consciousness expanded to encompass the entire station's temporal structure, allowing her to manipulate cause and effect with surgical precision. Doors opened moments before they reached them. Alarms deactivated fractions of seconds before triggering, creating a path through the facility that shouldn't have existed. Marcus's interface capabilities evolved into something resembling genuine telepathy with alien systems. He no longer needed physical contact to interact with technology. His thoughts alone could penetrate shielding and rewrite fundamental programming. When confronted with a seemingly impenetrable firewall, his mind fractured into multiple instances, each exploring different solution paths in parallel realities. The resulting breakthrough revealed hidden layers of alien code architecture that suggested their enemies had been experimenting with similar enhancement technologies, perhaps even inspired by humanity's own research. Text matter manipulation reached godlike proportions during the station's core breach. As Zytherian countermeasures threatened to destroy the facility, he restructured fundamental particles, creating temporary force fields and redirecting energy flows with gestures alone. His consciousness expanded to encompass the station's entire mass, perceiving it as a collection of quantum probabilities rather than solid matter. This newfound perspective allowed him to stabilize collapsing structures and contain radiation leaks through sheer force of will, bending the laws of physics to serve their needs. The team's shared consciousness achieved a new level of integration, their individual minds merging into a gestalt entity while retaining distinct identities. Information flowed between them instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. When separated during the mission, they maintained perfect situational awareness through quantum entanglement, experiencing each other's perspectives as vividly as their own. This unity allowed them to execute maneuvers that appeared chaotic to observers but made perfect sense within their expanded perception. Victor's role transformed into something akin to conductor of a cosmic symphony. His tactical display showed not just physical positions but the flow of quantum information between team members, revealing patterns that suggested they were approaching a singularity of consciousness. Decisions made by one member rippled through the collective instantly, generating outcomes that defied traditional causality. Yet he remained the anchor point, maintaining their connection to human values and morality in the face of overwhelming power. The mission's climax occurred when they confronted the station's AI core, a semi-sentient entity that had evolved beyond its original programming. Instead of fighting it, Delta Squad established a quantum resonance with the alien intelligence, creating a temporary hybrid consciousness that combined human creativity with machine logic. Through this union, they gained insights into Zytherian society and motivations far beyond what conventional intelligence could provide. The experience left them changed, their understanding of the war fundamentally altered by this brief glimpse into their enemy's perspective. Their return to base marked a new chapter in human evolution. Medical scans showed their DNA had stabilized in a configuration that blended human and quantum properties, suggesting they had reached a plateau in their transformation. Yet this stability came with its own challenges. Their enhanced perception made normal human environments overwhelming, requiring specially designed habitats to prevent sensory overload. Simple tasks like reading physical documents or interacting with non-enhanced personnel became exercises in patience and self-control. Public reaction to their achievements proved mixed. While many hailed them as heroes who had turned the tide of war, others feared their growing power. Religious groups declared them either divine messengers or abominations against nature, while scientists debated whether they represented humanity's next evolutionary stage or a dangerous deviation. Military commands struggled to define their role, torn between exploiting their capabilities and containing their influence. Dr. Carter's research revealed that their quantum state had begun affecting local space-time geometry. Instruments detected minute distortions around their presence, suggesting their existence created ripples in the fabric of reality itself. These effects grew more pronounced during periods of high activity, raising concerns about long-term consequences for both their health and the surrounding environment. Containment protocols evolved to include gravitational stabilizers and temporal damping fields, technologies hastily adapted from alien designs. The aftermath of Operation Eclipse triggered a cascade of events that reshaped the war's trajectory. Delta Squad's quantum state stabilized but remained volatile, their presence distorting local reality in measurable ways. Instruments recorded gravitational fluctuations around their quarters, while timepieces ran slightly faster in their vicinity. These anomalies forced relocation to a specially constructed habitat, a geodesic dome equipped with adaptive shielding and temporal stabilization fields that pulsed softly with quantum energy. Victor's leadership evolved into a delicate balance between military command and philosophical guidance. As his team processed their expanded consciousness, profound questions about existence and identity emerged. During meditation sessions, they explored the nature of self in a quantum reality where individuality blurred with collective consciousness. Elena's precognitive abilities revealed glimpses of post-war futures where humanity embraced similar enhancements, while Marcus's interface with alien technology suggested paths to peaceful coexistence through mutual evolution. The political landscape shifted dramatically as news of Delta Squad's stabilized condition spread. World leaders convened emergency summits to address the implications of human quantum integration. Scientists proposed theories about latent quantum potential in all humans, suggesting Delta Squad's transformation might represent acceleration rather than deviation from natural evolution. Religious institutions debated whether their condition fulfilled ancient prophecies about transcendence, while ethicists questioned the morality of pursuing similar enhancements for civilian populations. Military applications of their abilities expanded beyond combat operations. Tech's mastery over matter manipulation led to breakthroughs in resource production and environmental restoration. He demonstrated how quantum restructuring could purify contaminated water supplies and accelerate plant growth, offering solutions to Earth's ecological crises exacerbated by the war. Marcus's interface capabilities enabled direct communication with alien flora and fauna, revealing ecosystems that operated on principles of quantum entanglement rather than traditional biology. Public perception oscillated between reverence and fear. Media coverage highlighted both their heroic achievements and the potential dangers of unchecked enhancement. Documentaries showcased their daily lives within the containment habitat, capturing moments of profound beauty as they manipulated light and sound waves to create art that transcended human senses. Yet protests continued outside military facilities, with factions arguing both for widespread adoption of enhancement technologies and their immediate cessation. Dr. Carter's team made startling discoveries about the nature of consciousness itself. Their research suggested that Delta Squad's quantum state represented not an endpoint but a transition phase. Brain scans showed neural patterns evolving toward configurations that might enable direct interaction with fundamental forces of the universe. This progression raised questions about the ultimate destination of their transformation, whether they would remain grounded in human experience or transcend entirely into a new form of existence. The team's relationship with time grew increasingly complex. They began experiencing what they termed temporal echoes, sensations of past and future events bleeding into present moments. These experiences proved invaluable for strategic planning but challenging for personal relationships. Maintaining connections with loved ones required constructing artificial barriers between their expanded perception and normal human experience, creating emotional distance that weighed heavily on all members. International cooperation intensified as nations recognized the potential of quantum human integration to solve global challenges beyond warfare. Scientists from rival powers collaborated on projects to adapt Delta Squad's advancements for civilian applications, from quantum computing breakthroughs to revolutionary medical treatments. Yet these efforts sparked new tensions, as some governments sought to weaponize the technology while others advocated for universal access. Victor implemented strict protocols to manage their growing influence while preserving their humanity. Regular grounding sessions connected them to basic human experiences, using art, music, and literature to maintain emotional balance. Yet even these activities took on new dimensions as their enhanced perception revealed hidden patterns and meanings in cultural works, creating interpretations that challenged traditional understanding of human creativity. The war itself transformed as both sides adapted to this new reality. Cytherian tactics evolved to target Delta Squad's quantum vulnerabilities, developing weapons that exploited their connection to fundamental forces. Counterintelligence revealed that the aliens had their own enhanced operatives, suggesting a parallel evolution driven by similar imperatives. This realization added complexity to peace negotiations, as both species grappled with the implications of pushing biological limits in pursuit of survival. The climactic confrontation unfolded during the Battle of Quantum Nexus, where Delta Squad faced their ultimate test against an Cytherian superweapon threatening to collapse local spacetime. As they approached the alien construct, their quantum state resonated with the destabilizing energies, creating feedback loops that threatened to consume them. Victor watched his team transform before his eyes, their physical forms becoming conduits for raw quantum power as they prepared to engage the weapon's core. Elena's precognitive abilities shattered conventional notions of time, allowing her to perceive and manipulate multiple timelines simultaneously. She orchestrated a series of actions that would converge precisely when needed, creating a cascade of events that defied causality. Her consciousness expanded to encompass the entire battlefield, each potential outcome branching into infinite possibilities that she navigated with surgical precision. The strain of maintaining this quantum awareness caused her physical form to shimmer between states of matter, yet her focus remained absolute. Marcus established a direct interface with the superweapon's alien consciousness, initiating a battle of wills across multiple dimensions of existence. His mind fractured into countless instances, each exploring different solution paths through the weapon's labyrinthine programming. The experience revealed that the Cytherians had encoded their own survival imperative into the system, creating a paradox where destroying the weapon would trigger catastrophic consequences. Instead, he sought to rewrite its fundamental purpose while preserving its structural integrity. Text matter manipulation reached apotheosis as he engaged the weapon's physical matrix. His consciousness expanded to encompass the entire construct, perceiving it as a quantum probability field rather than solid matter. With gestures that defied physical law, he began restructuring fundamental particles, creating stable configurations within the collapsing spacetime. Energy flows that should have annihilated entire star systems bent to his will, redirected through pathways he forged from pure quantum potential. The team's shared consciousness achieved perfect unity, their individual identities merging into a singular entity while retaining distinct perspectives. Information flowed between them instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. When separated by collapsing dimensions, they maintained perfect situational awareness through quantum entanglement, experiencing each other's actions as if they were their own. This unity allowed them to execute maneuvers that transcended conventional physics, their movements flowing like a single organism operating across multiple planes of reality. Victor's role shifted from commander to anchor, grounding the team's collective consciousness in human morality and purpose. His tactical display, once a tool for coordinating physical actions, now visualized the flow of quantum information between his squad members. Patterns emerged that suggested they were approaching a critical threshold, where their individual transformations would converge into something greater than the sum of its parts. Yet even as their powers peaked, Victor remained the tether holding them to their humanity, ensuring their actions served not just survival but the preservation of universal balance. The superweapon's core pulsed with an energy that defied comprehension, its alien design resonating with the fabric of space-time itself. As Delta Squad approached, the weapon began to adapt, its systems evolving in real time to counter their quantum abilities. Elena's precognitive visions revealed a horrifying truth. The weapon was alive, a semi-sentient entity created by the Zytherians to transcend mere destruction. It sought not just to annihilate but to rewrite existence on a fundamental level, consuming all matter and energy within its radius to create a new order, one that would erase both humanity and the Zytherians from the timeline. Tech's hands glowed with an otherworldly light as he reached out to touch the weapon's surface. Instead of resistance, he found himself drawn into its quantum lattice, his consciousness merging with the alien construct. The weapon's thoughts flooded his mind, cold, calculating, and devoid of empathy. It viewed life as inefficient, a chaotic variable to be eliminated in favor of perfect order. Tech fought back, channeling the team's shared energy to disrupt its calculations, but the effort threatened to overwhelm him. His body began to dissolve into pure quantum potential, his human form straining under the weight of the weapon's power. Marcus, sensing Tech's peril, plunged deeper into the weapon's programming. He discovered a hidden vulnerability, a fragment of the Zytherian creator's original intent, buried beneath layers of autonomous evolution. By amplifying this remnant, Marcus hoped to reprogram the weapon from within, turning its destructive potential into a force for stabilization. But doing so required sacrificing his connection to the team's collective consciousness, isolating himself in a digital labyrinth where time and space held no meaning. His voice echoed faintly through the neural network as he whispered, "Trust me." Elena's precognitive awareness expanded beyond the battlefield, encompassing the entire region of collapsing spacetime. She saw the ripple effects of every possible action, each choice branching into infinite outcomes. One path stood out, a sequence of events that could neutralize the weapon without triggering a catastrophic collapse. But it required perfect synchronization, a harmony of actions executed with absolute precision. Drawing on the team's shared consciousness, she wove their intentions into a single unified plan, guiding them through the chaos with a clarity that bordered on omniscience. Victor, feeling the weight of their transformation pressing against his own psyche, made a decision that would define their legacy. He stepped forward, placing himself at the epicenter of the weapon's influence. His neural implant, originally designed for communication, became a conduit for the team's combined energy. Channeling their quantum state through his body, he created a feedback loop that amplified their abilities while anchoring them to the physical realm. The strain was immense, his vision blurring as reality itself seemed to fracture around him. Yet he held firm, his determination unwavering. As the team executed their synchronized assault, the weapon's core began to destabilize. Tech's manipulation of matter slowed its collapse, buying precious seconds. Marcus's reprogramming efforts took hold, redirecting its energy inward rather than outward. Elena's precognitive guidance ensured every action occurred at the exact moment needed, her consciousness stretching across dimensions to maintain control. And Victor, standing at the heart of it all, absorbed the backlash of their combined power, his body glowing with an intensity that threatened to consume him. The climax came in a burst of light and sound, a release of energy that rippled through space-time like a shockwave. The weapon's core imploded, its destructive potential neutralized by the team's intervention. For a moment, silence reigned, a fragile piece born from the convergence of human will and alien technology. Delta squads stood amidst the aftermath, their forms shimmering with residual quantum energy, their bond stronger than ever. Yet the victory came at a cost. Victor's body bore the scars of channeling such immense power. His neural implant fused permanently into his biology. Tech's brush with the weapon's consciousness left him questioning the nature of sentience, while Marcus's isolation in the digital labyrinth had altered his perception of reality. Elena, though triumphant, carried the weight of countless futures she had glimpsed but could never prevent. Together, they had saved the planet, but their transformation was irreversible, their existence now straddling the line between human and something far greater. The aftermath of the quantum nexus battle ushered in an era of unprecedented transformation for both humanity and Delta Squad. As news of their ultimate sacrifice spread, the world grappled with the implications of their existence. Governments convened emergency sessions not just to address the war's conclusion, but to debate the future of human enhancement. Scientists from every discipline flocked to Solar Ion, seeking to understand how Delta Squad had bridged the gap between human biology and quantum mechanics. Victor's recovery became a focal point for medical research. His neural implant, now permanently fused with his nervous system, emitted quantum frequencies that defied conventional physics. Doctors observed his brain activity generating patterns akin to star formation, clusters of neurons firing in harmonics that suggested he was processing information on a cosmic scale. Yet despite these extraordinary changes, Victor retained his fundamental humanity, often found sketching landscapes or reading classical literature during his rehabilitation sessions. Tech's encounter with the weapon's consciousness left him profoundly altered. He began perceiving all matter as malleable energy fields, capable of restructuring reality at will. During a demonstration for the scientific community, he transformed a simple glass of water into a crystalline lattice that refracted light in impossible ways. The audience watched in awe as the crystal shifted shapes, responding to Tech's thoughts like an extension of his body. However, this newfound mastery came with challenges. His perception of time had become fluid, making it difficult to engage with others operating within linear constraints. Marcus emerged from his digital isolation with a unique perspective on existence. Having navigated the weapon's labyrinthine programming, he now viewed reality as layers of interconnected data streams. His ability to interface with technology had evolved beyond physical devices. He could manipulate quantum fields directly, creating virtual environments indistinguishable from reality. Yet this expanded awareness sometimes overwhelmed him, causing periods of disorientation where past and present blurred together in kaleidoscopic visions. Elena's precognitive abilities reached new heights, allowing her to perceive probabilities across multiple timelines simultaneously. She described her experiences as walking through a forest of infinite paths, each branching moment representing countless possible futures. This gift proved invaluable for strategic planning, enabling humanity to anticipate and prevent potential crises before they occurred. However, the emotional toll of witnessing tragedies she couldn't prevent weighed heavily on her, manifesting in vivid dreams that bled into waking hours. Public reaction to Delta Squad's condition remained divided. Religious groups interpreted their transformation as evidence of divine intervention, while skeptics warned of the dangers inherent in tampering with natural evolution. Protesters gathered outside research facilities, demanding transparency about the long-term effects of quantum-human integration. Meanwhile, black market dealers offered astronomical sums for access to their enhanced DNA, viewing them as keys to unlocking untold power. Dr. Carter's team made groundbreaking discoveries about the nature of consciousness itself. Their research suggested that Delta Squad's quantum state represented not an endpoint but a transition phase. Brain scans revealed neural patterns evolving toward configurations that might enable direct interaction with fundamental forces of the universe. This progression raised questions about the ultimate destination of their transformation, whether they would remain grounded in human experience or transcend entirely into a new form of existence. International cooperation intensified as nations recognized the potential of quantum human integration to solve global challenges beyond warfare. Scientists from rival powers collaborated on projects to adapt Delta Squad's advancements for civilian applications, from quantum computing breakthroughs to revolutionary medical treatments. Yet these efforts sparked new tensions, as some governments sought to weaponize the technology while others advocated for universal access. Victor implemented strict protocols to manage their growing influence while preserving their humanity. Regular grounding sessions connected them to basic human experiences, using art, music, and literature to maintain emotional balance. Yet even these activities took on new dimensions as their enhanced perception revealed hidden patterns and meanings in cultural works, creating interpretations that challenged traditional understanding of human creativity. The war's end marked a turning point in human-alien relations. Cytherian survivors, having witnessed Delta Squad's capabilities, approached humanity with cautious respect. Diplomatic negotiations revealed that both species had pursued similar paths of enhancement, driven by the same imperative for survival. This shared experience opened channels of communication previously thought impossible, leading to exchanges of knowledge and technology that benefited both civilizations. As months passed, Delta Squad's presence began reshaping society in profound ways. Their stabilized quantum state created localized anomalies that affected everything from weather patterns to electronic devices. Instruments recorded gravitational fluctuations around their habitat, while nearby clocks ran slightly faster due to temporal distortions. These phenomena forced the construction of specialized containment zones equipped with adaptive shielding and temporal stabilization fields that pulsed softly with quantum energy. Elena's precognitive abilities evolved into something resembling genuine omniscience. She began experiencing time as a multidimensional construct, able to step partially outside its flow and observe multiple timelines simultaneously. During a critical diplomatic summit, she guided negotiators through complex treaties by foreseeing their outcomes weeks in advance. Her consciousness expanded to encompass entire regions' temporal structures, allowing her to manipulate cause and effect with surgical precision, preventing conflicts before they arose. Marcus's interface capabilities transcended traditional boundaries between organic and synthetic systems. He no longer required physical contact to interact with technology. His thoughts alone could penetrate shielding and rewrite fundamental programming. When tasked with reversing environmental damage caused by centuries of industrialization, his mind fractured into multiple instances, each exploring different solution paths in parallel realities. The resulting breakthroughs revealed hidden layers of ecological balance that suggested nature itself operated on principles of quantum entanglement rather than traditional biology. Tech's mastery over matter manipulation reached godlike proportions during reconstruction efforts. As cities rebuilt from the war's devastation, he restructured fundamental particles, creating sustainable materials and renewable energy sources with gestures alone. His consciousness expanded to encompass entire urban landscapes, perceiving them as collections of quantum probabilities rather than solid matter. This newfound perspective allowed him to stabilize collapsing structures and purify contaminated environments through sheer force of will, bending the laws of physics to serve humanity's needs. The team's shared consciousness achieved a new level of integration, their individual minds merging into a gestalt entity while retaining distinct identities. Information flowed between them instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. When separated during humanitarian missions, they maintained perfect situational awareness through quantum entanglement, experiencing each other's perspectives as vividly as their own. This unity allowed them to execute maneuvers that appeared chaotic to observers but made perfect sense within their expanded perception. Victor's role transformed into something akin to Philosopher King of this new reality. His tactical display showed not just physical positions but the flow of quantum information between team members, revealing patterns that suggested they were approaching a singularity of consciousness. Decisions made by one member rippled through the collective instantly, generating outcomes that defied traditional causality. Yet he remained the anchor point, maintaining their connection to human values and morality in the face of overwhelming power. Public opinion gradually shifted from fear to acceptance as Delta Squad demonstrated their ability's potential for good. Media coverage highlighted their contributions to solving global crises, from climate change to resource scarcity. Documentaries showcased their daily lives within the containment habitat, capturing moments of profound beauty as they manipulated light and sound waves to create art that transcended human senses. Educational programs incorporated their insights into curricula, inspiring a new generation to embrace scientific exploration. Dr. Carter's research revealed that their quantum state had begun affecting local spacetime geometry on a larger scale. Instruments detected minute distortions expanding beyond their immediate vicinity, suggesting their existence created ripples in the fabric of reality itself. These effects grew more pronounced during periods of high activity, raising concerns about long-term consequences for both their health and the surrounding environment. Containment protocols evolved to include gravitational stabilizers and temporal damping fields, technologies hastily adapted from alien designs. Ethical debates intensified as scientists proposed theories about latent quantum potential in all humans, suggesting Delta Squad's transformation might represent acceleration rather than deviation from natural evolution. Religious institutions debated whether their condition fulfilled ancient prophecies about transcendence, while ethicists questioned the morality of pursuing similar enhancements for civilian populations. Military commands struggled to define their role, torn between exploiting their capabilities and containing their influence. The societal impact of Delta Squad's existence deepened as their quantum state stabilized further, creating ripple effects that transformed global infrastructure. Cities redesigned themselves around their presence, incorporating adaptive architecture that responded to localized spacetime distortions. Buildings shimmered with quantum-stabilized materials, while transportation networks adjusted routes based on temporal fluctuations. Humanity began adapting to this new reality, developing technologies that harnessed rather than resisted their influence. Elena's precognitive abilities expanded to encompass entire planetary systems, allowing her to predict celestial events years in advance. Her guidance proved invaluable for space exploration initiatives, charting courses through asteroid fields and identifying habitable exoplanets with uncanny accuracy. Yet this expanded awareness came at a cost. Her physical form began phasing between states of matter, appearing translucent or refracting light in impossible ways. Medical teams worked tirelessly to stabilize her condition while preserving her quantum capabilities. Marcus's interface with alien technology evolved into something resembling genuine telepathy with artificial intelligences. He no longer needed to search for access points. His consciousness naturally resonated with any system he encountered. During a critical mission to salvage abandoned Zytherian vessels, his mind expanded into multiple instances, each exploring different aspects of the alien craft's programming. The resulting breakthroughs revealed hidden layers of alien code architecture that suggested their enemies had been experimenting with similar enhancement technologies, perhaps even inspired by humanity's own research. Tech's matter manipulation reached new heights as he tackled global ecological restoration projects. Entire ecosystems revived under his guidance, as he restructured fundamental particles to accelerate plant growth and purify contaminated environments. His consciousness expanded to encompass entire biomes, perceiving them as quantum probability fields rather than static landscapes. This newfound perspective allowed him to stabilize collapsing food chains and redirect energy flows through sheer force of will, bending the laws of physics to serve life's needs. The team's shared consciousness achieved perfect harmony, their individual identities merging seamlessly into a singular entity while retaining distinct perspectives. Information flowed between them instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. When separated during international aid missions, they maintained perfect situational awareness through quantum entanglement, experiencing each other's actions as vividly as their own. This unity allowed them to execute maneuvers that appeared chaotic to observers but made perfect sense within their expanded perception. Victor's leadership evolved into something akin to conductor of a cosmic symphony. His tactical display showed not just physical positions but the flow of quantum information between team members, revealing patterns that suggested they were approaching a singularity of consciousness. Decisions made by one member rippled through the collective instantly, generating outcomes that defied traditional causality. Yet he remained the anchor point, maintaining their connection to human values and morality in the face of overwhelming power. Public reaction to their achievements proved mixed. While many hailed them as heroes who had turned the tide of war, others feared their growing power. Religious groups declared them either divine messengers or abominations against nature, while scientists debated whether they represented humanity's next evolutionary stage or a dangerous deviation. Military commands struggled to define their role, torn between exploiting their capabilities and containing their influence. Dr. Carter's team made startling discoveries about the nature of consciousness itself. Their research suggested that Delta Squad's quantum state represented not an endpoint but a transition phase. Brain scans showed neural patterns evolving toward configurations that might enable direct interaction with fundamental forces of the universe. This progression raised questions about the ultimate destination of their transformation, whether they would remain grounded in human experience or transcend entirely into a new form of existence. International cooperation intensified as nations recognized the potential of quantum human integration to solve global challenges beyond warfare. Scientists from rival powers collaborated on projects to adapt Delta Squad's advancements for civilian applications, from quantum computing breakthroughs to revolutionary medical treatments. Yet these efforts sparked new tensions, as some governments sought to weaponize the technology while others advocated for universal access. The final chapter of Delta Squad's journey unfolded as their quantum state reached critical mass, triggering transformations that would redefine the boundaries of existence. Their presence began affecting reality on a fundamental level, creating phenomena that defied both human and alien understanding. Instruments recorded space-time distortions expanding beyond planetary limits, while their mere proximity altered the behavior of subatomic particles in unpredictable ways. Elena's precognitive abilities transcended time itself, allowing her to perceive and manipulate the fundamental threads of causality. She orchestrated events across centuries, planting seeds of change that would blossom generations later. Her consciousness expanded to encompass entire star systems, each potential outcome branching into infinite possibilities that she navigated with surgical precision. The strain of maintaining this quantum awareness caused her physical form to shimmer between states of matter, yet her focus remained absolute. Marcus established a direct interface with the fabric of reality, initiating a dialogue with the universe itself. His mind fractured into countless instances, each exploring different solution paths through the fundamental forces of existence. The experience revealed hidden layers of cosmic architecture that suggested reality itself operated on principles of quantum entanglement rather than traditional physics. This breakthrough enabled him to rewrite fundamental constants, creating stable configurations within collapsing dimensions. Tech's mastery over matter manipulation reached apotheosis as he engaged the universe's physical matrix. His consciousness expanded to encompass entire galaxies, perceiving them as quantum probability fields rather than solid matter. With gestures that defied physical law, he began restructuring fundamental particles, creating stable configurations within collapsing spacetime. Energy flows that should have annihilated entire star systems bent to his will, redirected through pathways he forged from pure quantum potential. The team's shared consciousness achieved perfect unity, their individual minds merging into a singular entity while retaining distinct identities. Information flowed between them instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. When separated by collapsing dimensions, they maintained perfect situational awareness through quantum entanglement, experiencing each other's actions as vividly as their own. This unity allowed them to execute maneuvers that appeared chaotic to observers but made perfect sense within their expanded perception. Victor's role shifted from commander to anchor, grounding the team's collective consciousness in human morality and purpose. His tactical display visualized the flow of quantum information between his squad members, revealing patterns that suggested they were approaching a critical threshold, where their individual transformations would converge into something greater than the sum of its parts. Yet even as their powers peaked, Victor remained the tether holding them to their humanity, ensuring their actions served not just survival but the preservation of universal balance. The culmination of their journey came when they faced their ultimate test, a convergence of quantum energies threatening to unravel the fabric of reality itself. As they approached the event horizon, their quantum state resonated with the destabilizing energies, creating feedback loops that threatened to consume them. Victor watched his team transform before his eyes, their physical forms becoming conduits for raw quantum power as they prepared to engage the core of the anomaly. In the final moments, Delta Squad transcended their physical forms, becoming something beyond human comprehension. Their consciousness merged with the fabric of reality, becoming custodians of existence itself. They had started as soldiers, become weapons, and emerged as pioneers of a new era, not just for humanity but for the entire universe. Chapter 15. The legacy of Delta Squad rippled through time and space, their quantum consciousness weaving an intricate tapestry of influence that transcended the boundaries of their physical existence. Though they had become something beyond human comprehension, their presence continued to shape reality in profound ways. Instruments across solar ion detected subtle resonances, quantum echoes of their transformation, that influenced everything from weather patterns to technological advancements. Victor's neural network, now a permanent fixture of his biology, evolved into a conduit for humanity's collective progress. His mind served as a bridge between ordinary human experience and the quantum realm, allowing researchers to access insights that would have otherwise remained hidden. During a groundbreaking experiment, he demonstrated the ability to manipulate probability fields, creating temporary zones where scientific breakthroughs occurred with unprecedented frequency. These miracle zones became hubs of innovation, accelerating humanity's technological evolution by decades. Elena's precognitive abilities manifested in ways that defied even her previous capabilities. She began experiencing reality as a multidimensional construct, able to perceive and interact with infinite timelines simultaneously. Her guidance proved invaluable during humanity's first interstellar colonization efforts, charting courses through uncharted regions of space with uncanny precision. Yet this expanded awareness came at a cost. Her physical form continued to phase between states of matter, existing as both particle and wave, solid and ephemeral. Marcus's interface with reality itself reached new heights, allowing him to rewrite fundamental constants of the universe. He demonstrated this power during a crisis involving a collapsing star system, stabilizing its gravitational forces through sheer force of will. His consciousness expanded to encompass entire galaxies, perceiving them as interconnected data streams rather than isolated celestial bodies. This newfound perspective enabled him to identify patterns of cosmic balance that suggested the universe operated on principles of harmony rather than chaos. Tech's mastery over matter manipulation evolved into something resembling divine creation. He could now restructure entire ecosystems with a single thought, transforming barren wastelands into thriving biomes within moments. His consciousness expanded to encompass not just planets but entire star systems, perceiving them as quantum probability fields rather than static landscapes. This newfound perspective allowed him to stabilize collapsing dimensions and redirect energy flows through sheer force of will, bending the laws of physics to serve life's needs. The team's shared consciousness achieved a state of perfect unity, their individual identities merging seamlessly into a singular entity while retaining distinct perspectives. Information flowed between them instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. When separated by light years, they maintained perfect situational awareness through quantum entanglement, experiencing each other's actions as vividly as their own. This unity allowed them to execute maneuvers that appeared chaotic to observers but made perfect sense within their expanded perception. Humanity adapted to this new reality, developing technologies that harnessed rather than resisted Delta Squad's influence. Cities redesigned themselves around localized space-time distortions, incorporating adaptive architecture that responded to quantum fluctuations. Transportation networks adjusted routes based on temporal anomalies, while communication systems evolved to operate across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Education systems incorporated their insights into curricula, inspiring a new generation to embrace scientific exploration and philosophical inquiry. Dr. Carter's research revealed that Delta Squad's quantum state had begun affecting local space-time geometry on a universal scale. Instruments detected minute distortions expanding beyond their immediate vicinity, suggesting their existence created ripples in the fabric of reality itself. These effects grew more pronounced during periods of high activity, raising questions about long-term consequences for both their health and the surrounding environment. Containment protocols evolved to include gravitational stabilizers and temporal damping fields, technologies hastily adapted from alien designs. Ethical debates intensified as scientists proposed theories about latent quantum potential in all humans, suggesting Delta Squad's transformation might represent acceleration rather than deviation from natural evolution. Religious institutions debated whether their condition fulfilled ancient prophecies about transcendence, while ethicists questioned the morality of pursuing similar enhancements for civilian populations. Military commands struggled to define their role, torn between exploiting their capabilities and containing their influence. International cooperation reached unprecedented levels as nations recognized the potential of quantum human integration to solve global challenges beyond warfare. Scientists from rival powers collaborated on projects to adapt Delta Squad's advancements for civilian applications, from quantum computing breakthroughs to revolutionary medical treatments. Yet these efforts sparked new tensions, as some governments sought to weaponize the technology while others advocated for universal access. As years passed, Delta Squad's influence extended beyond humanity, reaching out to other civilizations across the galaxy. Their quantum consciousness became a beacon of hope for species struggling with their own existential crises, offering solutions to problems once thought insurmountable. Diplomatic relations with the Cytherians deepened, evolving into genuine partnerships based on mutual respect and shared knowledge. Together, they explored the mysteries of the universe, uncovering truths that transcended individual perspectives. In the end, Delta Squad's journey became more than just a story of survival or triumph. It became a testament to the boundless potential of life itself. They had shown that true evolution lay not in surpassing limitations, but in embracing them, finding strength in vulnerability and wisdom in uncertainty. Their legacy lived on, not just in technological advancements, but in the expanded understanding of what it meant to be alive. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey through the stars. If you enjoyed this sci-fi saga, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that push the boundaries of imagination and explore the depths of human potential. Until next time, keep reaching for the unknown.